Well, hello, good afternoon, good evening for those of you in the UK. We're waiting for some folks to join us. Hello, my name is Faye Garza, and this is my show, Fayes Angel, that I do weekly on Tuesdays and have amazing lineup of fantastic guests. I'm not a psychic medium myself, but I am married to one, Roger Garza Sr. Hi, Julie. Good to see you. Julia. I am married to Roger Garza, who is a psychic medium, and we have two live shows each week, Latino Psychic Visions and This Mug's for You. So this show, Fayes Angels, is a spin-off of those shows because some of the things that happen on our shows are very intriguing, and we never really have a lot of time always to delve into those areas. So that's why after a few shows, 6 years of being on the shows and having to help Roger produce the shows, much to the urgent motivation by the person that you're seeing on the screen right now and my own husband, they said, why don't you do a show? And they both came up with Fayes Angels. I want to tell you, Paul, you were not Roger did and you did. You both were that. You said yes. And I said, Fayes Angels, I'm not sure what that means, but, and I did, and it didn't resonate. But then I started to thinking, yeah, that I want to talk to people and I want to research this stuff and I want to bring people on who are intriguing, inspiring, and curious about everything. And because I'm on this journey with my husband. He put me into hyperspace, thinking about things I never thought of before. And so here we come with you. Here's one of those people who is very significant in my life, who has been a mentor and continues to be, who I admire. And this is Paul Francis, internationally known psychic medium. He is from the UK. He has many shows on the internet. We got to know Paul by watching him, and so I'm just going to let you talk, Paul, because I think everybody who's on the show so far knows you. We're going to ask some questions. I'm going to ask, maybe, I don't know if I'll ever put your feet to the fire because you always seem to, but I really am intrigued by what you do. You have some things planned. I want to talk about that. So without further ado, welcome, Paul Francis. Welcome.
It's an absolute honor. And it's an absolute honor to be saying, realistically speaking, my first professional appearance.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I've been wanting you on the show for a couple of months now because I wanted you to,
well, the day I was supposed to be on your show, I ended up in hospital, didn't I?
Yes. I don't know. I think Roger appeared as my show that day. I'm not sure.
My stand-in.
He's your stand-in. Well, he's also, yes.
Can I want to counteract you if that's okay?
Absolutely.
Well, you start the show off by saying that you're Faye and you're married to Roger and you're not psychic. That's not true. That is not true. You are psychic. Every human being on the planet is psychic. Right. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that a big percentage of your attraction to Roger was not music or looks.
Right. It wasn't.
It was a feeling, right?
Yes.
And I rest my case, my lord.
Well, it was intuition.
It definitely wasn't looks. So anyway, let's go down the other route. Yeah.
It was total intuition on my part.
If you're watching Roger, I'm only kidding. No, it was you call it intuition. A lot of scientific people will call it intuition, gut instinct, gut feeling. A lot of people will stick labels all over it, but at the end of the day, when you can bring it all right back to its essence, it's a psychic connection. It's a connection of energies. Okay,
Right.
your energies and Roger's energies crossed over, all the information locked, and that's how you come together.
It was crazy. It was electric, to tell you the truth. I'm not
Hmm.
gonna go into it, and, I won't go down that rabbit hole as I was talking before too much, but we both were looking for, we both it was electric on both sides of the
Yeah.
story.
You're looking for your counterpart. Your kind. I mean, people call it twin flames, and you have multiples of people will call it your soulmate, your twin flame, you know what? It doesn't matter what label you give it, as long as it happens.
Yeah,
Okay. Johanna and I, when I
yeah,
first met Johanna,
right?
couldn't stand her. I thought she was an obnoxious cow.
How
You
did you
know.
meet her? Through friends, or did you
No, it
talk?
was through work. I was my TV show was starting off. My radio show was huge. I was linking up with TV personalities and all that stuff. And she came in and she just went, "You're all over the place. I need to manage you." And I'm like, "Excuse me? Who are you?" You know, and she was like, "I'm going to take over this and I'm going to take over that." And I went, "I don't bloody think so." And I said to my PA at the time, "Shut that woman down, block her, get her out of my face." And,
Wow, that's
but
funny.
when the link is supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen.
Yeah,
Now we got to talking, and we just chatted a few times, and then we realized that we were starting. I'm talking over weeks and months now, and
yep.
we realized we were starting to arrange our day of chatting before our business, and we conversed, spoke all day, every day, more first thing in the morning, last thing at night, all via the internet, via Facebook, via face to face, like we are talking
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And we'd go to bed at night, and she would be on my iPad, and I'd be in my home at the time, and I'd 90% of the time I was on my own, unless the girls were staying with me, that Maya and Madison. So I'd say goodnight to her, and she'd say goodnight to me, and it was always like at the end of the night. There was a funny thing. Johanna back then, she was going to hate me for this. She used to snore, and I used to find out. I used to go, "Oh, bless," and then I realized that I could just reach over and turn the volume down, and it was like heavenly. This is heaven. She's lying there sleeping away, and she's just in a baby sleep. If I turned up the volume again, you'd hear uh, falling back down again. So it was perfect.
Yes.
Um, but there was the same thing. Even though I was at one end of the UK and she was literally the other, there was just that magic, that thing, that connection. That's something. And it's funny how that something initially went bang like that, and then went shoo.
Isn't that
So
cool?
it kind of weird. But she is also very instrumental in carving me and for me to she's going right I'll go right, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and she's going, no, you're not. And I'm going, well, I want to. And she goes, you may want to, but you're not going to do it right now, so we're going to focus on this. She said you're going to do this, we're going to get this finished first, then we're going to do that, and then we're going to do. So she's very good at carving me and sort of going, no, 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 you
Making you
cannot
focus.
spread. Well, it's kind of like I was trying to do when we first met, I was doing how many different shows,
I know.
and she kept saying to me at night, you've got to stop. You're knackered every night. You're tired. You're climbing. You literally fall into bed, and you're exhausted, and you just can't do this anymore. And I was going, you trying to say I'm old? And I was like, she's no, 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 it's nothing to do with your age.
No,
You're literally all of the energy has been taken out of you.
right?
And she was right. And I was, I would put on a brave face in front of the cameras. I'd be like, yeah, yeah, bum, 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 bum. And then at night I just go, boom,
Right,
and I'd literally pass out.
right.
And it is probably instrumental in some of the illnesses that I went through because I
Yes.
didn't have energy to fight it back.
Well,
But
can I just I wanna input something here.
Hmm.
Roger and I were, I don't know if this had I th Roger and I had, concerns about, your, your all of the things you were doing, and we were wondering if you were exhausted and worried, kind of. I don't like to put worry out there, but we were
Hmm.
concerned that, you were going to get we didn't want you to get sick from it because there's a lot going
Well,
on in your life. You're
I mean,
you're young.
there was, I mean, an immense amount going on. But
Yes,
I have a habit of not looking at the problem, but looking where I'm going to be past the problem.
I know.
So I don't kind of focus on this issue that's stopping me. I focus on how I'm getting past that issue and what the goal is going to be. So, but what I wanted to say to you is your worry is just another word of saying we love you and we're just concerned.
That's
That's
what
what
it is.
when people say I worry about you, I think okay, that's an intention of love, and we're concerned
It
about
is.
my well-being. So I take it as a huge compliment. Now I come out of November. I was coming through November, and I was quite exhausted. Um, and I was trying to. There was two or three different things that were happening, and one of them was talks about. We were in talks about buying a hotel,
Yeah.
and the immense amount of meetings and
Yes, I'm sure.
legalities that go along with it. I mean,
Yes.
the legalities going with buying a business of that level,
Yes.
bang, boom.
Yes.
So we had that going on. We were buying a house to live in.
Yes.
We were moving home at the same time, and we had the movers come in.
Yes.
I didn't share this with everybody because a lot of people didn't know because I don't really put my home life on the net. But we had the movers come in, and the movers come in, and they packed up two big giant trucks of all of our stuff. And as we went to the house, the sale fell through,
I remember that.
and we were sitting there going, you got to be kidding me! But where do we go now? Because our house is no longer our house; it's sold.
Right. Right.
And we were
Right.
sitting there with two trucks
Yes.
and a car with two dogs and the kids, and we're like going,
Two big dogs and a little dog. Two big
oh, we were
dogs,
looking at
right?
each other, laughing, going, "There's a joke in here somewhere," you know. But obviously, it all worked out. But yeah, a big percentage of that did take its toll, to be in all truth.
Yes.
But you know what? Hey, it's it's that I always hear in my head. I hear my grandmother's voice saying, "Son, God never gives you a mountain you can't climb." And
Yeah.
I always remember that. So I can hear her voice saying, "Son, God never gives you a mountain you can't climb." You know, I don't like the concept. It doesn't sit with me when they say, "Oh, God is testing you." For
No.
what? Well, I'm going to be what are you going to turn me into a saint? No, God doesn't test you. God gives you opportunities to better yourself. Okay,
I
you can either take that opportunity on, or you can deflect that opportunity. That's called freedom of will. That's what God gave us, free will.
That's right.
So when I hear my grandmother's voice, I just hear her voice going, "Hey, son, God never gives you a mountain you can't climb." She doesn't say you don't climb or you won't climb. He just says he never gives you one you can't climb. So in the can't concept, there is a strong possibility you're going to be able to do this. So look for that reason.
And so also, when you look at it, when you can look at it objectively, hopefully by now, right? You can look backwards and you go, "That was a lesson."
Mm,
Absolutely, right? I mean,
yeah.
it, I don't many, many, many lessons probably, and it's just part of life, actually, our experience here that we chose to be here and experience life, the tough times that come
Oh,
or come, and that's change. Lots of things changed in your life all of a sudden. Your health, your
mm.
house. Maya, how's Maya doing?
Oh, she's brilliant. She's
She's
fantastic.
good now.
Oh, she's superb. I mean,
Oh, good.
to be able to combat the fear, and the fear wasn't coming from her, by the way, it was coming from me.
Oh,
I owned all of that fear, all of it.
yeah.
So how I combat that fear now is I take the mickey out of her constantly.
Okay.
you know. So when I say to her, like, when you're going into your place, into work, she's going, I'm going to work. I go, is there any cars inside? She goes, no. I say, oh, you'll be safe then, won't you? And she goes, oh, God. And I said, and I get out when I'm dropping her off to the bus in the morning for when she's going to college. I say, do you want me to walk you across the road? And she's like, and she's 16, she's coming 17. So she's like, oh,
Oh,
Dad, you're getting on my nerves now. And I go, yep, that's what I do. But what it is, it's actually me combating the fear
right.
because my go-to reaction is comedy. When I'm frightened or I'm not feeling something, comedy. When I first got married, the fear was there, and the
Right.
priest, and this is true, this actually happened. The priest said to me, "Don't worry, you've only got 2 words to remember." I said, "Yeah, must I?" And he looked at me and I said, "I'm joking, I'm joking," So, but I think it's a really good tool to combat fear, comedy, because it's stronger than fear. So I always bring comedy onto the stage when I'm working. You probably noticed that when you've seen some of my shows.
Hmm.
I want if the audience are laughing, they're forgetting about who they've lost. Okay, because as soon as they think about who they've lost, their energy goes boom back down again. So I got to
Hmm.
bring that back up. So I
Right.
will intervene, and I mean there was some of the shows that you watch, like on YouTube, for example. There's a big
Yeah.
show where you can see the word Pontins behind my head. In fact, that was a show I was doing with Colin Fry.
It
It
was
was on
called
that.
what? Hauntings?
Pontins, Ponta. It's a big company here in the UK where
Oh,
people go for vacation, big and huge, big stages.
okay.
And I remember being on stage. In fact, if you watch those, there's 2 shows. There's part one, part two. If you
Okay.
actually watch those shows closely, you can actually see spirit on stage with me. You can actually see them. Because if you
Okay.
watch closely, when I walk across the stage and I reach down to get a bottle of water, and
Hmm.
you just see the energy moving behind me like that.
That's cool.
That's
Okay.
really cool. And I was thinking, oh my God, I need to pull this together. And next thing I know, I got pulled over to the left hand side of the stage. And the very first thing I could see, there's a cartoon in the UK called Shaun the Sheep.
Okay.
And I just could see this Shaun the Sheep. And I was thinking, Shaun the Sheep? And now I've always taught my students, I've always said this, it's not your information. Don't judge it, just
Right.
give it.
Just
You
say
know?
it.
So I went over and I was said, I'm pulled to this group of people over here, all ladies, and I went to this one in the middle. I went, why have I got to give you Shaun the Sheep? Oh my God. The whole row started laughing out loud. Well, they were on like a kind of a hen night kind of a thing,
Yeah.
a lady bachelor party, whatever, I don't know what you
Ladies' night
call it.
out or something.
Yeah. And one of them had just been given a blow up sheep, which had sexual connotations, shall we say. So it
Okay.
was embarrassing. And the very first thing I'm giving is Shaun the Sheep. So the whole concept of that lifted the room, the whole room, right up, because all the cameras were on this lady, and she was on big 30-foot screens each side of the
Sure.
stage, and she's going, oh my god, like this here," and I'm going, "Do you want to explain?" You know, and of course I lifted that and I played with that for a wee while, and it was Shaun the Sheep,
Sure.
and the whole room lifted, and the energy just went bum, 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 like that,
That's cool.
and all the energy just started coming in. So
Right.
I realized that my whole concept for what I will be doing is
Right.
based on the same principles as one of my heroes, who's Patch Adams, the doctor. And he realized that when he brought comedy into the wards, the patients healed faster.
You get better.
So I wanted to be the Patch Adams for the spiritual world. I wanted to heal all of the people who have lost all of those beautiful people in their lives. But I not only wanted to heal that rift, that rip, that you know, I wanted them to realize not only are they not gone, but they're right next to you. And let me show you why. You know, so my whole persona, my whole life, my whole motivation, my whole drive, my whole ambition was to remove the concept of death. Remove it.
Yeah.
Get it out of people's lives because
Yep.
it doesn't exist. It only exists in here.
Yeah.
Okay. Because what we do, the machine, the machine, it shuts down. Just like a car,
Yeah.
it shuts down and the driver gets out.
Yep.
So we get out of the machine, but
Yes.
we carry on our essence, our spirit, our soul, our whole belief, our concept. It carries on, and it is that connection that I have with that energy that allows me to say specific things. I'm only allowed to remember certain things. I mean, God, 40 years of doing this business now.
Right.
I'm only allowed to remember certain things, and those certain things are so that I can teach. I can use them to teach.
Right.
Like, for an example, one that sticks in my mind is the night I said to Roger, finish the song. And he nearly fell off the chair. Do you remember
Yeah.
that night?
I think it was
Uh,
very emotional. Yes.
well, that's what that was. And it was, to me, it was just because I've gone to another particular part of life doesn't mean that we're finished.
Right.
That's what that means. It means, you started the song and I was part of that. I want you to finish it now. Just because I'm not physically around you doesn't mean you shouldn't finish what we started.
Right.
So, and that I've used that on a couple of occasions now to try and get the people to say, you started a project, you started building a boat, or you started doing this, or you started doing that. And they go, yeah. And then my dad died, or my mom died, or whatever. And I go, well, do you think you should stop that? Because, or should you finish it off and do it for both of you? And realization is, oh my God, you're right. I finished the job and I turn around and they're going to see it. And that's why I say, if you want to honor those you've crossed, be the best you could be here
Right
and
now.
now.
Right here.
So there's a whole, people say to me, do you make that stuff up as you go? And I go, no, there's a whole reason about what I do and why I do it.
Right.
It's not just made up stuff that I pull out of the air. I sat down, oh my God, for months and months before I decided I was going to walk away silently and slowly away from the music business,
Yeah.
and focus on what I did. And a lot of people couldn't understand because I was so successful in the music side of things.
Mhm.
They were going, "What the hell are you doing? Are you out of your
Right.
mind? You've
Yeah.
now got, oh, you've got your music is out there. It's on Spotify. You've been on TV. You're in movies. You could now got on one of the biggest shows in the UK, Doc Martin. You've been offered a part in Star Wars, and you're walking away from it." And I was going, yeah, because it's not fulfilling what I'm. There's something. There's a big chunk of that jigsaw missing, and it's not that. And when I realized, when I put everything into what I was doing here, I went, oh my God, that's the missing piece. And that's why I do it. That's why I do what I do.
I find that so interesting, and it's very inspiring, Paul, because I think your history, you came from a family
Mm.
where, uh, your uncle, was it your uncle?
Yeah, my Uncle James was a Bishop of Ireland, yeah.
And you were contemplating being a priest yourself at
Mm.
a very young age, and,
Because the energy, because I started working with spirit from the age of about 5 years old.
okay.
Only I'm saying that as an adult here and now, but at
Yeah,
5 years old, I
that's
was like, what are you all talking about? I don't. What are you talking about, ghosts and spirits? What are you on about? There's that man sitting in that chair right there, and he's smiling at me. And they're like looking, going, no. And I'm going, don't say no. He's there. I can see him. And I remember him smiling at me. And now, today, when I go back into it in my memory, I do realize he wasn't the same color as everybody else.
oh,
He
really?
was a slight paler color. And there was
Yeah.
something about him that seemed to be watching it through the eyes of a movie rather than like I'm looking at you right now. You know, when I do think about it, I still see he had such beautiful eyes, and he had a big long beard, and but I could see that such loving smile under that beard that
Mhm.
I had no fear of any kind. So as far as I was concerned, this man was beautiful. He was part of my family. I know I do. And I was listening to my grandmother and all the others in the room, and I was going, yeah, whatever. I'm out of here. I just want to go play now. So off I went out to play. We were on a farm.
So, Paul, I don't know when I hate to interrupt you, but I
No,
do want
please.
to I do want to acknowledge that there's many beautiful people, viewers who watch you, watch us, and I want to say hello to them. And I know I had questions, but I really want to uh, make sure that we ask questions of the people who are joining us today.
Sure.
If that's okay with you,
Yeah,
because
please,
I
because
feel
obviously I can't see them.
well, that's right. Yeah.
I'm
Well,
first of all, let me say to everybody, thank you very much for being here.
yeah.
Thank you to Faye for having me. I feel very, very honored. And I'm more than happy to answer your questions. But Faye, you're going to have to read them to me
Very
because
good.
the letters are about that
That
height.
small. Yes, okay. Well, here's Carol Fitzgerald Horton who's asking, Paul, do you believe that when we leave the earth, we go to other dimensions or we all go to heaven?
Right. What a fantastic question. And thank you very much for that question. I have taken more of a Zen Buddhist belief to that question. I have looked for heaven. I have looked for it in every angle and every contour of the world. I've looked for it being above the world, but where are you above the world? One of my other pastimes is astronomy. I used to spend a lot of my time in the planetariums, and that's where I said to Johanna, I've actually held a piece of the moon. I actually did have a piece of the moon in my hand. And when you go back from the Earth, you realize there is no up and down or left and right because it's in the center of a void. So which part is up? You know. So when you listen to the amazing words of like the Buddhists or the amazing words of the Native American teachings or the Aboriginal teachings, or a lot of teachings of those natures, you realize that the earth and the heavens are all one. They're all kind of one place. Now, all that being said, when my current physical life ceased, it ceased twice, by the way. When it ceased, and I went up because I was looking down at my head. I remember leaning down. I remember the words going, "That's not good." And I went up and I went into a dark room. I didn't go through any tunnel of light. I didn't go through. I mean, I felt love. Don't get me wrong. That was there. That was definitely there. But I was in this dark room. It was just dark. But, and this is the bit that all the ladies watching the show are going to love. Okay. It
Okay.
felt like I was inside chocolate mousse. Okay.
Okay.
Because the smells was like chocolate mousse. I remember going, ooh, I'm thinking chocolate mousse. And then I couldn't physically see people, but I knew they were there.
You're there.
I could mentally see them if you kind of get that ideal. And then I think I've told you a story before. They started touching me all over like that with their fingertips. They just kept touching me
Okay.
like that, head to
Yeah.
toe. Um, and this is the bit where when I'm thinking, oh, it's got to be a dimensional concept, or is heaven above us? Is it to the side? Where is it? Um, the person who was with me, the person who spoke to me on the other side of life, she said, "Hey, Paul, it's time to go back." Here's the scary bit. I said to her, I don't want to go back, and you can't make me go back because I know you can't make me go back. And she went, Paul, it's time to go back. And I went, no, no, I'm not going back. And I know you. And she went, boop, like that. I remember, boop, like that. And I went, straight down. And I was thinking, I didn't win that argument. And so as I was coming down, I remembered, oh my God, I can see clearly right now. As I was coming down, I could see my head and my body like that. And I was thinking, okay. And I was just sliding there. But then I started looking around me like this, and I could see the whole ward of the hospital I was in. I could see the ward, all the other people in the ward. And I could see loads of people around them. You had the bed, so there's people all around the bed, like this, loads of people around each bed. And I looked into the hallway, and there was a gentleman walking up, an older gentleman, and he was walking along, and he had one of those like trolley things which has got the drips on them, the bags hang from
Right.
it, and he pushes it along.
Yeah.
And he had two people either side of him with their hands on his shoulders like this. just resting on his shoulders. And I thought, oh, they're helping him to walk. He must be going to the bathroom or whatever. And then as soon as I opened, I went like that there, and I opened these eyes. Everybody
All,
gone.
all those people left.
Everybody was gone, and I could just see the gentleman as he was disappearing around the corner, and the two either
Those
side of him
two
were no
entities
longer
were
there.
gone.
They were all
Yeah.
gone. So I remember lying there thinking, I can't say on your show what I said out loud. I'll let your mind put those words into place.
It's a
But it was
reaction.
holy.
Yeah.
What the heck just happened?
Right.
And I was lying there thinking, and then I said, Sean, what was that all about? And I didn't hear her. And I was like, Sean, what was that all about? So I just remember lying back. And then the doctors came in and they went, you look good. And I was like, what? And they went, oh, we were getting ready to put you in an ice bath. And I was like, what? He said, I remember joking with the doctor going, if you'd have put me in an ice bath, you were going to be going in as well, right?
Yeah.
And he started laughing. He said, no. He said, Paul, I'm not joking. He said, we couldn't control your temperature was rocketing.
Wow.
And we couldn't control it. We tried to control it with drugs. We tried to control it with other ways. We couldn't do it. He said, but you're clearly okay now. He said, and then she stuck that thing in my ear and she said, your temperature's a little bit high, but not high that we would be like, oh my God. It's just like, well, yeah, a bit high. But they went, oh my God, okay, we'll give you another night. And I was thinking, what are these people talking about? And they had told my friends to start planning for me not being here.
Wow.
And I didn't know that because my friend
Yeah.
said, oh, they gave you 3 weeks.
Wow.
And to this day, I keep saying 3 weeks for what? Because
Yeah.
I had no concept that I was going anywhere. There wasn't
Right.
none of my family members all turned up and going, oh, by the way, get ready for a party. You're coming over. None of that happened.
Okay.
But the last thing, sorry, before she popped me on the forehead, she said to me, you've got work to do.
Yeah.
Oh, like that. No, down again.
You gotta go.
But so in answer to that, huge answer to that lovely question is, yes, I do believe we go to heaven. Heaven is what Christians call it. Okay, and certain other denominations call it heaven. It's nirvana. It's multiples of other names. Okay, for the sake of everybody who watches the show, heaven is real. Heaven exists. It's a real place. I have tried over 40 years to ask them to tell me what it's like and what it's all about, but they won't tell me.
Right.
And I've said, come on, what do you do? And they said, well, we got stuff to do. It's called the next life for a reason.
Right.
And I was like, oh, so we got to, work? Oh, yeah, you got to work. But it's not for monetary. It's for the benefit of the soul.
Right.
So we continue to learn, and that's why we come back and we live a life here. We go back over there and we expend the knowledge that we have, and we grow the soul and the knowledge. And eventually, my understanding is there are 7 individual levels, but each level you could have, I call it level 1. You can tell new souls. People who are new souls don't really have a concept of the world. They tend to be quite selfish, and they can be like, they're the kind of person who will push you out of the way just to get a cab. There's no nicety with people who tend to be new souls. And they're always blank to other people's emotions. It's kind of like, but anyway, you could come in level 1 and you could live 50, 60 lifetimes and stay on level 1 until you've learned the lessons of level 1. And then you progress to level 2. And when you go into level 2, you could be in there twice. Then you go on to level 3, you could be in there 100 times, 200 times. But when you eventually get to level 7, and you've learned everything that's supposed to be learning while we're here, that's why I call their home, we're the ones that are away at college.
Right.
So
Yeah.
At least 50 spirits have said to me, oh, I went home. And they use that vernacular. I went home. I go home. You're
That's
the
great.
one that's away.
I
So,
wanna go ahead.
yeah,
I don't wanna miss, I mean, this you stay I think this is a very, fascinating, seems to resonate with folks here
sure.
watching you, because they're asking or pointing out different things. I want to acknowledge some of the people who are they've been putting comments.
Hmm.
Polly Miller says, "Paul, your point just drove chills up and down my whole body. So apparently someone is connected through you." Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, Thank you, Kelly, for coming to Kelly Durant's over here now. We have several people watching. Wonderful turnout today.
Can I
Um,
just ask Polly
yes.
if Polly could tell me why that's resonated with her?
Okay.
Okay, because Polly's just about to turn a corner of her own spiritual growth. As soon as
Okay.
Polly came up on your screen, because I could see Polly and I could see the little red, I think that must be the YouTube thing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Sean came in, woof, right, just to me,
Okay.
like that.
I just had
And she
chills down my
said,
spine.
Sean said, watch her. I went, really? Okay.
Yeah. Paul.
So Polly's about to go through a growth of her own,
Awesome.
and it's going to be fun.
Good. Good to hear.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You're going to
And
have fun.
hi, Kelly. Good to see you. I don't mean to miss. I'm not avoiding people. I'm just trying to get everybody up here.
Oh, please fire the questions.
Yeah.
That fulfills me. I love it. Fire the
Yeah.
questions.
Becky's asking, do you believe that we need to clear our past lives and DNA?
Right. First of all, take DNA, throw it away. It's physical. Okay. DNA is physical. It's throw it away. Forget it. And how am I going to counteract that particular? First of all, Becky, brilliant question. Thank you very, very much.
Yes.
And how I'm going to counteract is: do you keep any parts of your first car? Do you keep the keys? Do you keep the door handle, the mirror, the wheels? No, you don't. Get rid of it. So DNA is connected to the physical, and when the physical shuts down, we step out of it. Okay, so we don't carry our DNA forward. However, parts of our previous lives can come with us. Okay, and no, I'm not going to say can. I'm going to say do. Okay, because what's the point of going to college and forgetting all the lessons? Think about that. And I'm going to actually prove that point because in this life here, when I was young, sort of 2, 3, 4 years old, I was so interested in anything with a motor, anything with an engine. I just that had me totally focused. And I always wanted to fly. I had an absolute penchant of airplanes. I just had to be seeing them. My dad would take me to the airport to watch them, and that was Christmas for me. You know, if he had said to me, "Excuse me, son, Santa hasn't brought you a single present, but I'm taking you to the airport. Bonus, let's go." You know, and I climbed into an airplane for the very first time ever climbing into any vehicle with wings. So I climbed into the airplane and I went on a flying lesson. So off we went, and the pilot said to me, "Right, you have control." I said, "Okay." So I took control. He said, "Can you bank left?" And I banked left. "Can you bank right?" Bank right. Pull the nose up. So I pushed on the engine, pulled the nose back. He said, "How did you know to do that?" I said, "What do you mean?" And he said to me, "How did you do? Have you got?" He said, "How many hours have you got flying?" I said, "This is my first time on an airplane." He went, "No, no way." And I said, "I promise you, I've never been off the ground before." He said, "No, look, you're taking the mickey." He said, "I have pilots who are into the eighth, ninth, 10th hour who can't do what you're doing." And I said, "Okay." He said, "How did you know to put on the power to lift the nose up?" He said, "Most people will just pull back on the stick, the nose will go up, and they go into a stall. You knew to put on the power first. How did you know that?" And it was instinctive. It was built in. And then a little while later, I kept getting flashbacks. I would get flashbacks of standing in a like a hut kind of thing, And I remember being brought back in a dream state. Now, I know I was being brought, showing what happened because it wasn't a dream. I didn't forget it. I remembered everything about it. And
Okay.
I heard this bell ringing, and I got up to run to the door because everybody else ran to the door. And I looked over to my right hand side, and there was a big glass case. And I saw myself, and I went like that, going, that's not me. And I was tall for a start. What happened there? I was tall. I had a moustache. I was about 6'1", dark hair still, and I just ran out. And what I was running out to was Spitfires or Hurricanes, Spitfire Hurricane. And I remember moving in the Spitfire Hurricane, the aircraft I was flying, and I pushed the yoke forward like that, and bang! That was it. And that was it. That was the end of that life. Again, that's I remember that. So I remember being in an airplane. I remember flying in airplanes, and I remember bang, and that was it. So, but I do remember grabbing the yoke and pushing it forward, and next thing, bang, and that was the end of it.
Wow.
So that those all of those dreams that were shown to me fitted with the information that I actually experienced physically. So, in answer to Becky's question, I do believe that we carry certain parts of it, but we don't carry stuff that inhibits us. That's rubbish. Okay? People
Okay.
saying,
So there's no.
"Oh, past lives are holding you back." No, they're not. They're
Okay.
not.
I love that. Thank you. That's good answer. Thank you. I mean, thank you for that answer.
Great question.
I want to share with you what Polly's response is, why that resonated with her.
Sure.
She said she's not meeting her goals. She says she's not feeling she's meeting her goals. You were saying, and you were saying she's watch her. Sean
Yeah.
came.
Sean's my master guide, and Sean just went, "Watch her. Everything's about to change, and it's all for the good." That's what I said. It's all going to be fun. You're going to enjoy this.
And
Okay.
even though you think you're not meeting your goals, maybe you are. I mean, there's
There is something I want to say to Polly, if that's okay. Polly, listen, my darling. There's there are some reasons why you don't meet your goals. Okay, but the biggest reason why you don't meet your goals are the ones that you actually inhibit yourself. You have goals, but are they your goals? First of all, that's a big question. Are they your goals, or are they goals somebody else told you to go for? And number two, for 99.9% of the reason we don't hit our goals is because we don't want to, realistically speaking. So what I would say in your situation, Paul and my darling, and by all means, feel free to message me. I'll help you where I can. Is step back and do what I was speaking about at the start of the show. Trim. Get rid of the stuff that you don't really need. Get rid of it. Get it out of your life. Because when you free, it's like going to your closet. I want to speak in a vernacular that most ladies understand. Okay, you go to your closet, you look in your cupboard, and you see all the clothes hanging up there, and there's clothes you will never get on again. All right, there's no way you're going to get that on again. So, realistically speaking, if you get rid of all of the clothes, A, that you're never going to get on again, and B, you don't really want, you're freeing up space and energy to do things that you do want to do. Okay, you're freeing up that space, you're freeing up that energy, and you're getting rid of stuff off your shoulders that you don't really need. Get rid of it. Okay, and start looking at what brings you happiness, that brings you love, that brings you fulfillment, that brings you joy. And I promise you, when you go for stuff that brings you happiness, spontaneity, love, excitement, energy, you will hit every goal every single time because you don't have to put effort into it. It just happens. Try that.
That's good. I love that. And I think I remember you saying to me one time, if it's got to be fun. It's
It's
if
got to
it's
be fun.
it's got to be
Otherwise,
fun.
why?
If otherwise, why are you here? Why are you doing that? It's got to be fun.
I
I
mean,
love it.
there's an energy. We spoke the other night. Faye and I were speaking the other night, and I had just dealt with another Bible basher. Okay, I was brought up. The thing about it is, people think because I'm a psychic medium, I have no clue about religion. In fact, the absolute opposite, because I was brought up in an extremely religious family.
Right.
Okay, I mean, not a lot of people in Ireland can say their uncle is a bishop. Okay, so there is. I would say the Bible has a lot of really great stuff in it, but a lot of stuff is just no. Okay, do you think Jesus wanted to be remembered by being nailed to the wood?
Mm.
I don't
No,
think so. Of
no,
course he
that's not the
doesn't. So
point.
that's not the point.
Mm-mm.
Not the point. The nail.
Right.
See your
Oh,
thing
that
there.
was good, wasn't it?
All right. But he
Sorry.
wants to be remembered for the great things that he did, not because he was nailed to a chunk of wood. Okay. So when you start getting rid of the stuff that you don't enjoy, when you start bringing the stuff in that's fun in your life, that's happiness. Number one, you're creating memories you can always go back to. Okay. You're creating situations and scenarios and energies that are around you that are only ever going to be profitable as in life, not necessarily financial, but as in life profitable. And in that life profitable energy, you then actually automatically give that out to the people that are most important to you because they feed off of that positive energy and then they start doing the same thing.
Hmm.
Okay. So get rid of the stuff out of your life, Polly, that you just don't need. All right, just get rid of the stuff that you don't really, really want to do, and start focusing on only the things that bring you happiness, love, contentment, and excitement. And most of all, wrap it up in fun.
Absolutely. I just want to make a little suggestion to folks. The show is not, although we have psychic medium Paul Francis on tonight. I the show is really just questions and answers about different aspects of paranormal, of afterlife, or it's not really how am I going to do in my job. It's That's not what we're really looking. We're
If
not.
somebody asks that question, how am I
Yeah.
going to do at my job? The answer lies with you, not spirit. Okay, that's it's in a way, Faye. That is not a bad question to teach here.
Okay. I
Okay,
absolutely. Do you want me to put
because
up the question because you can answer it any way you wish? I
Because at the end of the day, life's not designed for us. Okay, life is created for us. Okay, but it's up to us with what we do with it. Okay, once again, it's a little bit like the message before. If you're doing a job and you're not experiencing happiness, you're not experiencing fulfillment, you're not experiencing success, then you're not doing the job.
And
Okay.
Paul, to be fair to this person who did ask the question,
Mhm.
um, this is the real question. I just did that kind of question just
Sure.
as a for example.
I
Here's
can't read that, so can you read it
I
out
know
for me?
I that's why I'm prefacing it that. So here's the question. Here's the question. Jasmine's asking, and I'll get to other people's questions too, but since Jasmine asked this twice, I thought maybe I better ask the
Sure.
question. Hello, please. Will I succeed my new mission and work? Any message about work and love, please?
Okay, Jasmine. We are creatures of energy. Okay, we are literally cosmic balls of positive and negative energy. That's what gives us balance. That's the yin and yang. What you give off as energy, you attract as energy. If you give off a negative energy, don't be surprised when negative things are drawn to you because you're giving that off. You're a magnet to your own success. Alrighty. So, Jasmine, in life, love, and business or work, whatever you want to call it, life, love, and work, you will only attract that what you want to attract. Okay. So if you want to attract somebody like Faye with Roger, like myself with Johanna, you're giving off. I mean, all I had in my head is I want somebody to come with me who's going to come with me. Okay, I want somebody to come to me who's as motivated as I am, as driven as I am, who is successful. And I've always said, if you want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. Okay,
Absolutely.
if you want to fall into a deep dark chasm of negativity, then surround yourself with those people because that's what's going to happen. Alrighty, let that scare you if it has to be, because sometimes swift kick in the butt always helps. Alrighty, but Jasmine, you will be as successful with your missions and your mission of life as you want to be, but it's what you give off, it's what you put into it. Alrighty, it even says in the Bible. We'll go back to the Bible again. You reap what you sow. Okay, what that means is you attract what you give off. Okay? So if you give off a whole pile of I can't be bothered and I don't really want to succeed and I'm not really interested,
Or I don't
don't be
think I can do
surprised.
it. There's that,
Yeah.
don't limit yourself saying, I don't know if I can do this.
Well, if you fall into that category, which is that slight gray area in the middle, that's self belief. All right. If
Mhm.
there's a task in front of you, okay, this is a good answer. If there's a task in front of you that you don't have the tools to succeed with, or you don't have the knowledge to succeed with, maybe that task is to see how you get that knowledge. Do you have it in you to go to somebody and go, hey, listen, I've just been given this task to do. I don't know how to complete that. Can you show me how to do it? And that could be the whole test to see if you have that ability to communicate and ask for help. Because it's one of the things that human beings really love to do, and that's help other human beings.
That's right. And asking for help is one of my bravest things to do.
Do it.
When I ask for help, I always, oh, they don't want to help me. Oh, I'm not good enough to ask for help. Yes, stop it, Faye. I have to say that to myself all the time. I mean, I've reached out for help from you. I've reached out for help from other people. They're more than happy to
Yeah.
help me, and
Then
that's
I'm not only more than happy to help you. I'm you come up in my estimations for having the ability to ask. I remember some time ago there was a young lad who had slight designs on my daughter. Okay, and he worked in the kitchen at washing dishes, called pot washer. And he said, "Look, I'm really sorry. I'm a pot washer." And I said, "You'll do fine for my daughter." And he went, "But I'm a pot washer." I said, "If you can get up every day and go and do that job to the best of your ability, as
hmm
far as I'm concerned, you're a winner. No matter what you do, it's whether or not you put that effort into your creation." And Jasmine, if you get up every day and do what you love, you will never, ever, ever be a failure.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you. We're going to be going all over the place, and folks, I will try to put all of your questions up, but I may not have time. But um, just a little break. Uh, oh, I just want to do a little commercial break for you, Paul.
Sure,
You are you are back on track. Please tell me when your shows start, what they mean, when we can find you for your guidance, where you're located. I do have running around down the bottom a banner that tells people how they can contact you, but I know you're also going to be doing some sessions. Please talk about that for
sure.
a moment. Let's take a break here.
Um, one of my sort of ideals. I had people have been asking me all through 2023 to do seminars, and I was like, yes, 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 I will definitely do seminars. And then all of a sudden, you're in February, March of 2023, and then all of a sudden you're in September of 2023. Then all of a sudden you're in November of 2023, and you think, what the hell happened to 2023?
Yeah.
So I said, right, all the seminars that I was going to do in 2023, I'm now going to outline for 2024, and they're going to happen.
Mhm.
Then 2024 kicked my butt at the beginning and knocked January completely out for me. So I was like, well, it kind of did, and it kind of taught me a lesson. But I always, in my previous working system, I always shut down in December and restart in February. Okay,
Mm,
because I take December should be family, and
yep.
January should be my vacation, should be my
Sure.
break. Okay,
Gotcha.
and then I go from February onwards. Sort of, you start pushing the ball and get the ball rolling in February. Then March comes and the ball's fully and up you go. So I'm going to be doing a series of seminars. Some of them now have got to be doubled up. Well, that's cool because those who want to be part of the seminar, you're getting two for ones. Okay,
Yep. Oh,
because
cool.
well, what do you call them in America? Twofers. Twofers.
Yeah, twofers.
Yeah, you
Yes.
get a twofer. So
Yeah.
there's going to be a few twofers coming out through that this year. The very first one that I really, really, really need to do is to get everybody's energy balance because it is all over the
Over the
place.
place.
Oh my God, it's mind-boggling how many people are who were super intelligent, very, very effective normally are running into brick walls because they're not seeing the outcome. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. The very first seminar I'm going to do is it's going to be very, very simple, and it's going to be open for people who've never approached this before, or people who do it on a regular basis. Every now and again, we still got to tune the engine. Okay,
Yep. Yep.
if you're a Formula One car, if you've got it, I mean, you are the most highly skilled tuned engine on the planet. But even then, every single week, you still got to be tweaked and tuned. Okay, so whether you've been a first timer and never done this before, or you've been a Formula One driver, this session is going to be open for you because I will take you to places that you may not have been to before. I will bring you to areas that I'm pretty confident you've never existed in, and you will be in your absolute peace. Okay. I would say, just thinking about it right now in this very second, I would say I probably bring you to the edge of your own heaven. Yeah.
Well, so I can't wait. I
So I'm
can't
going to
wait
bring you
to hear.
there. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
going to teach you some serious stuff. And the second part of that particular set of seminars will be that you meet your guides.
Can't
Okay.
wait for that either.
Now, when you get all of that going, my advice is right. Okay, I've taught you how to drive. When you've got into your car and you've learned how to drive and you just passed your test, you're still not a competent driver, are you? You know how to drive the car. You know how to make it go forward and backwards, stop and start when it should, but you're not really competent yet. You're on the way. So the next seminars are to take you to bigger places and more competent places, and that world grows and grows and grows until you get to the point where by the end of 2024, I'll have you working.
Okay. My heart kind of fluttered a little bit there. So I'm excited about
But
it.
not everybody is going to, not everybody will want to work. You don't
Yeah.
have to want, you can develop right up to working ability without
Right.
ever wanting to work. That's totally your call.
Sure.
It's a great
And
journey.
some of the seminars are just going to be are going not just, but are going to just help people
Hmm,
face maybe the work that they are doing right now,
yeah,
be better at what they're doing now, make it a happier place. I mean, we can.
yeah.
It doesn't have to just be a job. It can be a wonderful opportunity to grow, to get.
Oh, amazingly so. And 90% of people, and I'm sorry, I will show you why when I'm doing my seminars, but
Okay.
90% of people are governed by guilt. They're governed by do this or else. That's what the
Yeah.
concept is in if you don't do this, this will happen. If you don't do that, that'll happen. And that's called a guilt complex. Okay. And what I will do is I will teach you how to get rid of that guilt complex. Because what a guilt complex is a speed bump in your road. And that's all it is. So once you remove the speed bump and you understand the road, you'll just zoom. Okay.
Yeah.
And my whole teaching will be is to teach you really who you are, really who you are. Okay, get rid of the guilt complexes, get rid of all the idiotic, stupid old teachings, and all of the yeah buts and the if you don't do this. I mean, one of the things I grew up with was you're going to hell. I
I'm
can't
bringing up
imagine hell
these
being any worse than this. Oh, I know that guy.
look at this. I have this and I look at this, I love this. This got me on the path of angelic relationship,
Yep.
and I am a proponent of that, and, um, this is Paul Francis here, this is his deluxe version, it says, and I highly recommend it. Look at this post-its. I have little sections I like to look at. It's The Safe Way by Paul Francis, and you can get this on. I can get it on Amazon. I think I got this on
Well, I was
in the United States, you know,
what
and also
you
this
can
one.
get it on the best. I think probably the best place to get it on is Amazon.
Yeah.
Did you see that picture there?
Yes, and
The
here's
book.
this little book
Oh
of
yeah,
wisdom.
yeah.
This is
That
by Paul Francis too, folks. I mean, this just I don't I need to get the just word out of my vocabulary, but a lot of little quick a lot of not little, but some guided things like Thomas Edison was asked, "Why did it take you 100 attempts to get the light bulb correct?" He replied, "It didn't. I only found 99 ways of how not to make a light bulb." You know, it's a lot of
yeah.
things that little thoughts that you can think of from famous people and also from Paul Francis, things to get you out of a rut, to start thinking.
And that's why it's called the Little Book of Quick Wisdom.
Yeah, it's just
Okay,
getting us out of
isn't that
our,
funny? I just mentioned we're wrapped in guilt,
yeah.
and the very in all of that entire book, you select that one thing that's based on guilt.
Oh,
Thomas Edison was asked, "How come it took you 99,
yeah,
100 times to make a light
yeah,
bulb?" He goes, "It didn't," because they were actually focusing on the fact that he had got it wrong 99 times.
right,
And he
right,
went, "No, I didn't. I just find one way to make a light bulb. I find 99 ways of how not to make one."
right.
And that was
Yeah,
eliminating the guilt. And isn't that amazing? In all of that entire book, that you
I put
select that one point.
it's
And
nothing is
that you could have opened that book at any place, at any the book itself is designed to open anywhere.
that's
You
what I
may read
love.
it front to back, yes, but the idea of it is you pick it up and you just open it and you look down and it takes you out of the rut. But I was just thinking, oh my God, how can and that's proof in its very self. Right here tonight, proved the point. I was just
It's
that's put
awesome.
some my
You know,
shivers. All my hair is going up like that now. It's
mine too. Holy
going,
cow. Holy cow.
that
Well,
is so
thank you.
cool. I love that.
I know.
Um, there's multiple seminars coming off, ladies and gentlemen. Spirit Quest will be returning to the airwaves in the next week or so.
Okay.
I'm not too sure which night it's going to be. There's a hint that it's going to come back on Tuesday night and possibly Thursday night. Um, and I can't see any reason why that shouldn't happen, really. But I'm also now in talks of doing live theatre shows again,
Oh,
which
good.
is I'm looking forward to doing.
Good
I'm
for you.
also in talks of doing a radio show that you remember we spoke about quite a couple of years ago.
Right.
That has come back to me, and the people has come back to me from Netflix and said, right, let's start talking about getting the show going.
Wow.
So all of a sudden, all of the whole ass kick, excuse me, butt kicking at the beginning was to get me to stop. I feel, and now they're lining up what they need me to do. Goes upstairs.
Well, it was a quick, bang on your for you,
Mm.
and you had time to reflect, to regroup, I think.
Yeah,
I feel that's what you were doing. I could tell that you were doing that when I would send you little messages, giving you our support and our love and our healing.
yeah.
I could feel that you were not, I know you were ill, but I knew also that you were contemplating what happened and how to go forward. And I think,
Yeah.
we all need these things. Not that God did this to you. I don't believe that's true. I just
Well, I've got a funny way of I've laid back on many an evening, thought about this, and they see I've got a bad. Well, is it a bad habit? I don't know. I've got a habit of soldiering through, pushing, going
I
on
know
through.
too much.
If I've got a cold, I push through it.
Yeah,
If I pull the muscle, I push through it. But they gave me an illness so defined that I couldn't get off the bed, so I couldn't push through it.
right.
Okay, I got the worst element of COVID, which literally knocked me out. So I stepped away from all work, everything. I had to step back and just leave it all go, you know,
Hmm.
which is probably what was the right thing to do.
It was, and I'm putting something up there, and I want to reassure folks that I'm not skipping over you who have questions, but because you were talking about the very thing you were talking about, I had to put this post up from Tanya, my daughter,
Sure.
and she's saying that
Hi,
resonates.
Tanya.
Yeah, that resonates with me so much, Paul. I pair guilt and fear with one another when it comes to being held back from pursuing my dreams as well as my worsened MS symptoms. She's working through her own illness right now, as well as learning from it. I too am learning from it and
Mhm.
finding alternative ways. Absolutely.
Okay, question.
Go ahead.
First of all, love you guys. Tanya, thank you for being here. You are definitely a chip of the old block. Oh, without, it's like mirrors. So I'm going to ask you, Faye, a question, but the same question to Tanya. Okay? Now, this is going to blow your mind. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What's the best part of the MNS or MS?
What is the best part?
What's the best part of it? You weren't expecting that question, were you?
No,
So
no.
what's the best part of MS?
For
Tanya, same
me,
question.
Um, so I watched Tanya go through this, and the best part of MS for me was to to do something that resonates with you. Do something that you love.
No, you're answering for somebody else's perspective. Answer only your own perspective.
My own,
Mm. And you know what? There's no right or wrong answer to this, by the way.
my
But
own.
what's the best of it? Okay, let me help you, you guys, because
Please
if
do, please do.
you've got such a huge heart. Your heart is huge. Okay, that you'd never want anybody to be ill. You never want anybody to be in pain, especially your beautiful daughter. Okay, but the best part for me, having the very severe COVID, was I had the whole time with my family.
Oh,
100% of that time was with my family. 100% of it. Okay. And all they wanted to do was see me better. They wanted to see me, they forgot about all of the problems that we had with moving houses so many times, and they'd forgotten all of that stuff. And you know what? We had the most lean Christmas this year. And you know what? When I say the lean Christmas, I'm used to my kids coming down and a wall of gifts, right?
right, right.
And they came down to maybe 6 or 7 gifts under the
Yep.
tree.
Same
And they
here.
said, Dad, this is the best Christmas we've had. So when I say what is the best part of the MS is MS I'm trying to read that, gave me
That's-
sympathy or
yeah,
empathy.
sympathy actually.
I think what MS gave Tanya is a better, stronger focus.
Yeah,
It gave her a much more defined focus. She started getting rid of all of the stuff she doesn't need.
absolutely.
So she did it automatically. So she is literally a piece of your block that is chipped away. She's just
Well,
you all over. Alrighty?
she's I feel like she is in flight of finding her own things. This is what she says in
Yeah.
addition to what she said before. Sympathy
And
for
you know
others.
what? You're
Here's
gonna you're gonna beat it.
so here comes more from what she says.
I can't
Sympathy
read it.
sympathy for others and grace for myself, as well as appreciation for life's true blessings, family,
Yes!
friends, nature, my artistic talents. And
Yes! Yes! Boom!
yeah,
Get in
I'm
there.
wa- I'm watching her fly really. Uh, and it fly,
Better
the body.
appreciation of life. I mean,
Yeah.
what better words? And you know what? Mom won't tell you this, but she's super proud of you because of it. Okay? Older people have a problem in telling younger people they're proud of them. I know my dad had the same
I tell
problem.
her I'm proud of her all the time, actually.
I tell my kids I'm very, very proud of them and how much I love them all the time. But it's not. It's very simple. It's a very human condition to look for the negative in the situation. That we're already programmed to do that. Oh, MS is going to do this to you. It's going to give you that. You're not going to feel it. Instead of going, oh, by the way, it's going to free you up to do all of that.
Right. That's what we're working, and that's what we
And
think.
then when you're flying, as you put it, what I think is a brilliant euphemism, when you're flying, all of a sudden the other symptoms will get smaller.
Mhm.
When you're high up in the sky, people on the ground look like ants.
I feel like it has also given her an opportunity for all of the above, tell you the truth. At first, when she was diagnosed with it, I go, why Tanya? Why Tanya? Why Tanya? Now
That's
I'm
because you're a good
thinking,
mom.
uh, okay, there it is, but it's not the end of the world. And I'm seeing her just create into another beautiful Tanya. It's like a metamorphosis. It's like a brand new butterfly. It's like that. That's what I
Can
see.
I ask you a question, my darling?
You sure
Have you got a
can?
sister in spirit?
Yes.
She's right over your left shoulder right now.
She always shows up when I'm
She's right behind you.
that's Carol.
And there's something about your dress sense needs adjusting.
My dress needs to be adjusted.
No, your dress sense. She wants to take the mickey out of your dress sense.
I still don't
She
get
wants
what you're
to.
saying.
She wants to make fun of how you dress.
Oh, okay. I get that.
And that would be her, right? In
Yeah.
reality, yeah,
Yeah.
because she told me to say that to tell you that it's actually her because she wants to just mess with. She's going, oh dear darling, get that off, get this off. Let's get you dressed up properly. She wants to play with you and dress you up properly. So she's like, oh oh yes darling, like this. But she's right over your left shoulder.
Okay. She was my mother figure. She was
Okay.
pretty a mother figure for me, as
Did
well
she
as my
teach you how to
organist.
write? Did she teach you how to write?
She taught me how to do many things. She
Well,
had
she's
the
talking about the writing as being significant. And I
okay,
want to do it in almost genteel ways, like almost what do you call that writing?
cursive. It's
It's a
cursive.
special artistical way of writing.
Yeah,
It feels very
she was
genteel,
very flamboyant in the way wrote cursive writing.
right?
She taught me many things, how to sew as well. I was very lucky to have
She's
her.
saying you're forgetting the lessons you taught her.
Mm.
That's what I'm supposed to say. You're forgetting the lessons that you taught her.
You're over. You're not supposed to do this, Paul.
Hey,
I love that. I love Carol. She is my mother, my sister, and I love her. And she comes to me many times. Roger sees her too. She peers.
she's doing the mother thing again. She wants you to incorporate more fruit in your diet.
Okay.
There's a little bit of I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but there's a little bit of an area that fresh fruit and veg would lift, will help.
Okay.
Okay,
She's right.
and it's better to rely on nature's way of feeding you rather than a store plastic way of feeding you. If that helps you, I don't know what that means, but that's what I'm getting. Do it from
She was a
natural source.
fantastic cook, an incredible cook. Hmm.
Was she well known for her pies?
Everything. Yes, pies.
Well, no,
Yes.
she's not going for. She's tapping me here, which means to me sweet tooth.
Yeah.
Okay, keep doing that, which
Yeah.
means sweet tooth to me. That's my symbol for sweet tooth. And then
Hmm.
she showed me a cherry pie.
I loved
But
her
she knows
baked
that
bread.
I would love cherry pie. Anyway,
Yeah,
she's with you.
thank you. People are suggesting calligraphy, but
Calligraphy, that's the word I was looking for. That's it,
I
Tanya.
we
Calligraphy,
didn't we didn't
the
do that.
beautiful way of writing, the
But I think
artistic.
I did buy a calligraphy kit, which is kind of weird.
Hmm.
Carol never did that, but I and Tanya got a kit as well from me one
Oh,
year.
it's beautiful.
And so
I did calligraphy as well.
I'm going to be going into this. Uh,
I
oh
tell you what
man,
you'll find, both yourself and Tanya will find, especially if you do it together, it is one of the most amazing ways of getting rid of tension. You'll just forget all the stresses and the tension, and it'll just flow.
I think I'd like to go over and do that at Tanya's house with you, Tanya. So let's make
There
that
you
a
go.
date.
You got any more questions for me?
Oh
Because
yeah, I mean
I don't want you crying anymore.
don't cry, make me cry anymore. Um, So let me see. I'm going to go through the folks and thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed. I know you have enjoyed it. I have enjoyed this session with you, Paul, all to myself. Um, kind of getting a background about you, where you come from, as well as where your thoughts come from, and
Hmm.
um, your knowledge is always inspirational to me. Um, So I'm not quite sure if I need to get the platform ready.
Well, when you're getting that already, I've got this is a big month for me.
Yes.
Um, I hit the big 6-0 this month.
I know. Happy birthday coming up.
Wow. I I still can't keep thinking about 60. Are you sure? You know, because I sent a message to my aunt and uncle in Ireland, and I said because I was the page boy at their wedding,
Wow.
and I sent them a message going, "Your nephew turned 60 this year." And they went, "What? No." I was like, "Yeah." Um, and the other great part of that is, at the end of this month, I'm going back to Ireland, but it's a me thing. It's not a work thing.
Good for you.
Although I probably will make it work anyway. But I'm going back to my pals who I grew up with, and we're going to celebrate another 60th for me in Ireland. So I'm looking forward to that. So this month is, but one of the things I said on my Facebook page a couple of weeks back was I finding it really difficult. I find this entire year difficult, and this is a very under. I kept it way, 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 way down. Nobody knew about it, but this is the year that my mom passed. She
Okay.
passed at 59, and even though I've taught hundreds of thousands of people around the world that their family's journey was their family's journey, I know that, but it
Hmm.
still resonated with me that my mom not only died at 59, but died of cancer, both of which I have. You know, I had cancer at
Yeah.
59. And so
Yeah.
in here at the back, where the sublogic, I call it sublogic, lives, is yeah, but what if, you know? And as much as I go, no, no, and Johanna goes, if I hear you say that again, I'll make sure you don't make 60. You know, it's just like that. And I know, and I hear my guides, and I hear my family, and I even hear my mom saying, "That was my journey. That's not your journey. You know, you're going to live on right on." It's still there, and maybe there's a tiny little complex that says, "Why am I outliving the most important woman it was ever in my life?" You know, so she taught me everything that or a really big perspective of who I am. And my father taught me the focus. He taught me the drive, the motivation, the ambition. He taught me to get up and get it, and he taught me if it's to be, it's up to me. And if you're always going to miss 100% of the goals you don't take. But my mom taught me the emotion, the music, the beauty. So I was really well balanced through my family. And to
Right.
have both of them gone now, sometimes you want to go and put your head on that shoulder and they're going to go,
I know.
you're going to be okay, you know? And
Yeah.
when I see Tanya and you, I think to myself, sometimes Tanya may just want, you're going to be okay, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and it's kind of cool, but sometimes I can't tell people to do one thing and I do something different.
Right.
So, every now and again, sometimes I got to say in my own way, I might need a little bit of a boost here. I might need a swift kick in the rear, you know.
Sometimes.
And sometimes I might need just to let my hair down and enjoy life to the absolute max, which I'm pretty confident my boys in Ireland are going to make sure happens.
Good.
There was a question in the group this morning. Hey, do you guys want to book breakfast in the hotel? And most of them went, do you think that's a good idea? It's just like, oh yeah, that's my boys.
That's cool.
So,
That's awesome. Let me just put Polly, I just
sure.
caught this one. Polly says, excuse me, concerning that balance, Paul, is there a surefire way to detach from what feels like a nasty attachment?
Yeah, you have. First and foremost, Polly, you are the strongest element in this world. You are. Here's something for you guys to take on board. Everybody, every single person watching this tonight, everybody watching in the future. And here's something. The only person I can see is Faye. So I'm going to blow her mind right now. Faye, this world does not exist without you.
I only know that because I've been reading that, and it is a profound statement. It really is a profound statement.
The world does not exist without you. So you are the most powerful element in this world. Okay?
Yeah.
So, Polly, you are the most powerful element in this world. Now, here's that's part one. That means you've got the energy and the strength to beat whatever you want, and you do. Trust me. Okay, you are the only thing that spirit has over you. It's only got one thing over you. What's that one thing? You have to answer for everybody, Faye. Spirit has
It's
one thing over you. That's the only thing that it's got. What is that?
I
Starts
don't
with an
know.
F.
Fear.
Fear. That's it. That's all it's got. Okay? So when you realize that and you go, I'm not frightened. What am I going to be frightened for? It's energy. That's it. Okay? Once you eliminate the fear factor, you're left with everything you have as an arsenal, which is love, strength, power, energy, and focus. Okay? You've got all of that. Okay? Now, how do we get that in working in a synced all movement engine in the balance? Well, first of all, we have to work on ourselves. And how you do that is you balance your chakras, which is something I will be teaching you in the first seminar as well. All of that is all part of seminar one. Okay. How to balance your
Okay.
chakras, how to ground, and how to use both the energies of the earth and the energies of the universe as one. Okay. Now, let me give you, for instance, and it's dead easy for people to say, yeah, but you've been doing this for a long time. Yeah, but you also got to remember, you can tell spirits around me, can't you? My nose is
I can
itchy.
see it. I was just going to say, wiping, got an itchy
um,
nose.
itchy nose. Now, yes, I've been doing it for a long time, but there was a time that I was doing it for the first time. You got to remember that as well. Okay. Now, what you got to remember is, and what I do is I'll walk into any place, anywhere, without any fear because I know that's the only thing they've got. And
Mhm.
I have two monster arsenals behind me, huge arsenals. Who are they? My mom and dad.
Yeah.
Okay, they looked after me while they were here. That doesn't mean they're not going to do it when they're over there. Oh my God, they've got even stronger abilities. Not only are they able to look after me while they're over there, but they've got all of my guides to help them. They've got all of my family who's crossed over to help them too. Do you think they're not going to step in and block some negative energy trying to hurt you? Of course they are. They would have done it while they were here. They're going to do it while they're there. Okay? So when you have that belief system locked in, absolutely nothing can touch you. Nasty attachments, okay? Is it a nasty attachment? You've got to evaluate that, really. Or is it attachment that's just trying to get your attention, okay?
Mhm.
Now, please forgive me, all my dear friends and lovely people in the United States. All right? I love you all. Thank you. And I really mean it from my heart. Thank you for your support. But please explain to me why demons only appear in America.
They appear in Canada too, apparently.
Trust
So,
me, it's because that's what you're told constantly. And if you're told it enough times, you'll believe it. Okay? So, first of all, I'm going to give you a scenario as to what I'm backing up what I'm saying. I was asked to go to visit a property here in Cornwall, or where it was supposedly a demon or a nasty entity, and it was, it was causing all kinds of mayhem. Could you come and check it out? And I was like, yeah, all right. So I went down, and I promise you, it was a time slightly before we had multiples of cell phones and things of that nature.
mhm.
Because I wish it would have been filmed. Oh my God, I so wish it would have been filmed because I would put it on high speed playback and put the Benny Hill music on in the background. Okay? Because I chased that entity around that house. Up
Okay.
the
Has it?
stairs and into the room. And I went into the room and the lady who owned the house was behind me and I said to her, "This is where it happens." And she goes, "Yeah, how did you know?" I went, "Okay, you need to leave me alone." So I asked them all to wait in the hallway. I closed the door, and he was standing in the corner, and I could
Mm,
see his outline. And I said, "Why are you doing this to this little girl?" And he said, "They're in my house."
mhm.
I said, "No, no, no, no." I said, "Yes, this you're in," and then he gave me his name, and I said, "Yes, this was your house, but why didn't you go with your family who came to see you?" And it turned out he was frightened. And I said,
Oh,
"Listen, let me give you some advice." And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "I'm not here to throw you out. This is your house. This is you. You clearly love it." And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "But you can come back here and visit at any time you want." As in 19, 2020,
yeah.
1980,
When
1970,
whenever you
1960,
were.
whenever you want. And I said, but all of the people who came to meet you, all the people who love you, they're waiting for you.
Mhm.
And you
Good
can come
idea.
back and visit whenever you want. And the energy changed in the room. I came out of the room and I said to the lady, "Who is such and such?" And she goes, "That's the guy who built these houses." And I went,
Wow.
"It won't happen anymore. The only reason that he was annoying your daughter, and this is where it comes to Polly's question, the only reason that he was annoying your daughter is that's the only person he could contact, the only person that
Yeah.
he could get attention of,
Right.
because
Because
everybody
children
else was
are
just
very.
dismissing him. Yeah,
Yeah.
children are brilliant. So, Polly, you really have to look onto the concept is it a nasty attachment or is it just somebody trying hard to get your attention?
Just attention. And I think I wish the haunting shows that we see and paranormal shows, there's just too much of,
We were watching it, and I was lucky. I had about 40 minutes to spare tonight before I was coming on your show, and we
yeah,
put on one or two of those American, uh, and I just sit there and look at them like this, going, "What a pile of crap!"
right.
And she goes to me, "I hate watching these shows with you," and she goes, "But I do understand. Yeah, this a
Well,
lot of this
and
is
some of
rubbish."
some of the dark any darkness that you
Mm,
may have might be, what do you think about darkness, associated with anxiety, fear, depression?
yeah,
That's those are real dark. That would be the dark entity, wouldn't you say? That
yeah.
might
Well, you
be.
see, I mean that's then what's referred to as the negative energies. Darkness itself is just the absence of light. Think of it that way.
Mhm.
Okay, we focus too much on not being able to see instead of just the fact that there's no light available. So what do? We put a light on, no more darkness. Okay. So here's the thing. It's a matter of your perspective of who you are, not the perspective of where you're going. Okay. If you are going to go into a room or go into a place that some people have told you that it's haunted, okay, they're pre-programming you to hear what they want you to hear. Okay. Whereas when I'm going to a venue, I would say all of a sudden people don't tell me a single thing. Don't tell me anything. I don't want to know anything. If you tell me something, then I have to prove that point, which makes my work harder. Okay.
Right.
So when in fact, when I went to this this house with there was three houses actually, and it was in the center one. They already told me he was a negative energy and he was evil and this and that. So I went in with I went in like this,
Yeah.
you know, instead of going in going, okay, what's the problem? You know, that's how I should have went in, but I went in like that.
Yeah.
Come on, you know,
Yeah.
um, and so it really, really is. What have you been taught? How have you been taught it? In what reason were you taught it that particular way? Evaluate what you know. I mean, look at the amazing people you've got around you in America. They are mind-boggling, amazing people. The Native American people, okay, and they live with their ancestors. They're with the spirit. They're not
Right.
against or
No.
over. They work with them. I mean,
Right.
learn. The Mexican people are the same. I mean, they spend a lot of their time. I can't remember. I don't want to embarrass myself by going the Day of the Muerto, or I'm not going to pronounce it, but the Day of the Dead, and they celebrate it. The Irish, we celebrate a death. We don't mourn it. Okay, we celebrate what that person taught us, what they brought to us, what they gave us, and then we
Right.
celebrate the fact they're now with all the people they love. Okay,
Right.
I mean, yes, we're sad they're not there anymore, but we celebrate their life. And that's how we should be doing. We should be celebrating life every single day.
With that, you know what? This time went by so fast. You know that it's past past closing time for this show. It has been fantastic, and there's so much to be said, and so much that wasn't said. But I think thank you everyone who joined the show. If I didn't get to your questions, I apologize, but there is so much to every question. Tell you the truth, and please, if you have more questions, then I think you need to tap into Paul Francis and catch him on any of the shows that he will be. I will also, if he posts anything, folks, I will promote his
Oh,
show
sorry,
because
I did forget one thing, which I only came up with last week, and
okay,
it's something that I've been doing a lot, and I kind of reincorporated it. It's called Pause for Thought,
yes,
and I've decided to do a Sunday night thing,
okay,
and
yes,
I'm going to call it Pause for Thought, and the idea is have a think about what you learned in the week just gone and what you achieve in the week ahead. Okay, and intermingle that with your own spirit and with the
mhm,
spirits that are around you. So I'm going to create that on a Sunday night. I'm going to call it Pause for Thought.
that sounds
It's not going to be a
fantastic.
big, long 2 hour session thing. It's going to be a short thing. Okay, but do you know, for all of those people that we didn't manage to answer tonight, Faye,
Yep.
I think the only way to fix that is for me to come back on your show.
Okay. Well, I would love it to. I would love for you to come back on my show.
Be
You're
an honor.
always welcome to come up on my show, and I know that you've got a lot going on the rest of February, but um, anytime. When do you want to come back?
Oh,
You
whenever
want to
you
come
want
back
me.
March? Anytime in March?
In fact, I might actually steal you from Roger, and we have to do a show of our own. But we'll come back. Give me a shout anytime that if you've got a show on your host or your guest that you down, call me. If I'm free, I'm on.
Well, I mean, if you want to continue the conversation, there might be an opening next week, but I don't know what you're up
Wow.
to. I mean,
Let's look at it.
it would be a
Let's
natural
look
it
at
would
it.
be a natural thing for us to continue this conversation next week if you are available. But I know the
Let's
rest of
let's
the
do
week.
it. Let's do it. You know what? Let's do it.
Okay.
because I'm not
Okay.
going to be around at the latter end of this
I
month.
know. I
So
understand. Yeah. You
I'll
told
be
me.
doing a completely different spirit.
Okay. And
Completely
so,
different spirit.
okay. Uh, so everyone, thank you for joining us and thank you for
Thank you.
hanging out with me and asking your questions. We will be doing this again, it looks like in a week. And, you know, always be curious. People have little things they want to say. I suggest to you, be curious.
Hmm.
Never stop being curious because this life is all about having fun and finding out why you're here. So
And
always
you
be
can always
curious
learn something around the next corner. You can always
a-
learn something.
and be involved. Don't sit back and just hope for things to happen. Be
Yeah.
involved. Do something. Go outside. Say hello to somebody you've never said hello to. You never
That's
know.
brilliant. I love that. I get told off by my family for doing that. They go, "My God, Dad, you could say hello to anybody. You've never met them before. Next thing you're having a conversation." And I
Exactly.
go, "And
Everybody's got a
where's the problem in
backstory.
that?"
And it might be an opportunity. You never know.
Yeah.
Not that everything you do is an opportunity, but it's an opportunity to learn something new. So we have
I'm
to
going to
say
leave you. I'll
goodbye.
leave your all your fans with one pause for thought tonight.
Sounds good.
Failure is an opportunity in disguise.
That too.
Ask Thomas
Goodbye,
Edison.
everybody. Thank you for joining us. Paul, stick around for a moment or two. I want to talk to you a little bit, and I love
Sure.
you all. Thank you for joining us. We got to end. Good night, everyone.
Good night, y'all.